Okay, Stacey, Keenan, there was a piling on with Bill Cosby. Last week we had the admissions of sorts. What's your take now on Bill Cosby? Is he the most
Well, I remember, Jordan, I think I came
predator?
on... I think I came on when the story first broke. I was on talking to you about it. And listen, I'm a sex crimes prosecutor. And, you know, when you have 22 women all coming out and telling you the same story, you tend to believe that something's going on. So, you know, the funny thing to me, I shouldn't say funny, is I love when people say, well, he never drugged anybody in front of me. Do you honestly think that rapes take place in front of people? I mean, these guys are like discreet master manipulators, and he's slipping a drug to a girl. Do you think that he said, hey, buddy, come watch me? I mean, that's ridiculous. But listen, the admission has changed the tune of many people who wanted to protect him and wanted to say how this guy could never have done this. And everybody that called, he called every one of these women a liar. He wouldn't answer questions. And so, you know what my take on it is. And now when you come out and there's an admission in his deposition that I give girls drugs to have sex, well, obviously you give women drugs to have sex because under normal circumstances they wouldn't consent to have sex with you. So you needed to do something to make them have sex with you. So, I can't imagine who would be aligning themselves with him now. I think every brand that ever had anything to do with him, I think Jell-O needs to take a good hard look and figure out if he's still attached to them. And even Obama, my understanding, came out and said something today about, we don't condone rape, and this is rape, because people are up in arms. They want his Medal of Honor taken away, Presidential Medal of Honor. This is a rapist. They want the Walk of Fame. They want everything taken away, and they want him stripped, as he should be.
Do you agree with that?
So, am I what?
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. This man's a rapist. I mean, this is what he does. You know, and this is not me just with my opinion as a sex crimes prosecutor. This is an admission. This is what I did. And so I think these other women now that have defamation suits, we're beyond the statute of limitations on many of these cases except one. They are investigating one to determine whether or not she does fit into the statute of limitations because she might have been underage at the time. But the interesting thing is none of these women, none of them prior to last week except one, the woman who was involved in the case, had access to this deposition, yet they all had the same story. And then he comes out, and the admission is exactly what these women said. So you can't take that away. I think the defamation suits, I think he's going to have to pay out a lot of money. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens with this one person. If there's the ability to go forward and prosecute, they might do it. As a matter of fact, the first case where this lawsuit was first done in Philadelphia, they came very close in the prosecutor's office to filing charges against them. I forget ultimately what happened, but she'd gone to the DA. The DA sat down, met with her, and I don't know what the final straw was, maybe because they believed it was a one-on-one case and because he had celebrity and, all that kind of stuff attached to it. But it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. There's nothing more to say.
And his wife said that the women agreed that to mutual sex with Mr. Cosby. I don't know if you caught that article when this leaked document came out.
She wrote a whole thing, and she believes that they consented. I mean, what do you expect the wife of someone to say? She's not all of a sudden after 53 years going to turn around and say, you know what, he is a rapist, and I knew it. She has to stand by him. If she, I think it's a lack of self. Of course, she sits. They have a family together. They're married 52 years. I mean, honestly, it's got to be a real feeling of she's got to have low self-esteem if she has the ability to stand there and say that as opposed to just remaining silent. I mean, to go out there and actively defend him is a lot different than just sitting back and letting it is what it is and letting him kind of go out into the sunset. So I don't know why she would feel the need to go out and do that other than, she's been with him a long time and there's kids involved and all that goes along with, having a long marriage.
Now, I know you're not a psychologist, but you do prosecute a lot of cases like this. Why do you think that he would take this route when he is Mr. Huxtable, Bill Cosby, and most likely without the drugs, he probably could obtain a lot of women, a lot of pretty highlight women, without going through all this stuff that he had to do to drug them, to seduce them, and stuff like that. He is Bill Cosby, and there are a lot of women, that want to hang around actors, and he might have achieved his goals. Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it is, first of all, I don't think a lot of these women were going to him for sex. I think a lot of them were, trying to be mentored by somebody. Not everybody who's working their way up feels the need to sleep with the person that's mentoring them. So I do think that there was, that aspect
power.
But also, as you know, rape is not a crime of passion or because you want to be romantic. Rape is power, and it's a violent act, and it's powerful. And I think drugging someone is an act of power. It's an act of violence. You have total, complete control. And I think he's an ignorant egomaniac who thought this is, Quaaludes are cool, and they used to call them thigh openers, believe it or not, because it was supposed to relax you as far as sex. And I thought he thought it was good and fun, and he got his way. And so once he got his way with one, he just continued to go on. I mean, I'm not in his head, but I can tell you that it's a power thing. It's a control thing. It's exactly what it is.
Joseph, your take on Mr. Bill Cosby?
Talk about brave. And I'm not referring to the gentleman who played on the television show. These women, to so many of these women have lived in fear for all of these years. Probably right. They told a lot of people. I would venture to say, that as shameful as it is, I'm sure that some of these women had told a number of people. And can you imagine being in that vulnerable position with this very powerful man, and how terrifying that is? Because God only knows what he would say to leverage them. And again, dovetailing with Tracy's comments, this is a power issue. You're right. There are probably a certain segment of the population out there that would like to engage in, physical contact with a celebrity just because this is a celebrity. But,
right.
In my experience investigating deaths related to sexual predators and the number of serial offenders that I've come across as a death investigator, it is about power. It is about control. And, I had a moment when they mentioned the Quaaludes when this first came up the other day, and I know that this sounds just absolutely bizarre, but the death investigator in me came out, and my mind automatically went to Jeffrey Dahmer and some of the things he did done. Well, he killed those guys because he wanted, he tortured them because he wanted to have control over them. He even talked about them being living dolls and zombies, and he could control them. Well, Quaaludes are, first off, they're hallucinogenic. They're an uber.
They're not even available anymore.
No, they're not. And that's another interesting thing, because they haven't been available for a while. And with the peripherals that he has surrounding him, again, this is another issue of celebrity accountability and the people that surround them. Other people would probably need to have their feet held to the fire in regards to this. How did he get access to these medications? Who supplied him with these? And so that's another thing. So I don't know. It is disturbing. I'm hoping, and I'd heard the same thing where there was at least one case where someone came forward to a DA. And this was brought to their attention, and I just absolutely hate it that the statute of limitations has run out on many of these things. It's absolutely horrible, and it's like anything else when it's involving celebrities. You would think that you're given this fantastic pedestal to be upon, and that there would be a higher level of accountability and responsibility, just like there are with firefighters and police officers, and because If everyday citizen goes out and robs the liquor store, well, that'll make 2 news cycles. If a cop goes out and does it, oh my God, that it'll be in the news forever. But not the case with this. And again, I go back to the earlier discussion we had in regards to automobile fatality. I really hope that some prosecutor will sink their teeth into this case and truly make an example out of this person. Hang from sour apple fruit, because it's horrible what he's done to these women. Absolutely horrible.
I think
totally
of course, absolutely. And I think that what makes this so much worse is this is a guy that traveled the country giving speeches and lectures, and he's the moral compass of a black man, and you walk away from your kids and you get girls pregnant, and that was a very big thing, that he was very active in the African American community about talking to men and how they leave their kids and how they get these women pregnant, and about education. I mean, at Temple University, I'm from Philadelphia, and Temple University, he was beloved. I mean, they took the statue down of him. He was a graduate of Temple, and he was very, very active. As a matter of fact, the first girl that claimed rape that was in this lawsuit was a basketball player at Temple, and that's why she sought out his guidance, because he was at Temple, and she was kind of looking at what to do. She didn't know which avenue to take, and she knew that he was, on the board, and he was interested in basketball because she played basketball. She was a basketball coach, and he came to the games. And so, I mean, he was loved, and he took that holier than thou, preaching to everybody. And this is the guy that's doing it. That's what makes it even more disgraceful, what he was doing behind the scenes, and he had the nerve to go out and, tell everybody else what to do. And so Philly took down the statue of him, and Disney World took down the statue of him. They had him because of the Fat Albert stuff that he was involved in. And the whole thing happened with the medal with the president, and now the Walk of Fame. I mean, people really have to say that they were just, for all those years, had the wool pulled over them, blinded. And, this is just a huge, huge disappointment. And it's a huge victory for these women that for all these years lived with this. The second victim, Barbara Basie, I think her name is, she told her story to a reporter years and years, over 25 years ago. And they made a deal with him in the National Enquirer, that they wouldn't print anything about it. So, I mean, the cover-up, even worse than the crime. So,
cover-up,
that's where it is right now. That's where we stand right now.